Hi guys, so welcome back to another episode of the PS2 Collector. I am Gamer994. So I've decided to take up a challenge to collect every single PS2 game ever released. And as stated in my previous videos, I'm going to collect all 4,376 PS2 games. So at the moment, if you have watched my previous videos, so far we've got 40 games out of 4,376. So we're going to continue my current collection before we go on the hunt. Stay tuned. So the first games that I'm going to quickly count are the sport games, and that is from 41 to game 43 are PS 2011, which is a late PS2 game, Cricket 07, and for me the best PS2 football game of all time, and that is PS6. So for sport games, I mainly play the football games, but anything to do with basketball, NFL, NHL, I never played. But yeah, we're off to a quick start. That is games 41, 42, and 43. The next game for me, I had a huge blast playing this game, and that is the original Midnight Club. So when I first got this game and I played the story mode, it was absolutely difficult, from the brutal time trials to photograph finishes when it comes to racing. It was absolutely tough. But the memories I've had with this game was playing multiplayer with my close family and my friends. I remember going down London and New York causing absolute destruction. But yeah, the game hasn't aged well, but if you do enjoy PS2 racing games and you've not played Midnight Club, please give it a go. There is one to be had. And that is game number 44. Another game I'm going to quickly count out is Star Wars Battlefront, which is game number 45. Never played this game ever. I just got it part of a bundle on eBay. But yeah, if you have any memories about this game, and if you want to let me know that I might miss out on a great game, please let me know. I might just give it a go. But anyway, that is game number 45. Game number 46 is one of my favorite fighting games of all time, and that is the original Tekken Tag Tournament. After the huge success of Tekken 3, the next Tekken game had to deliver, and in my opinion it absolutely did. Tekken Tag Tournament, the original one, brings back fighters from the original Tekken and Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. They brought them all into one game and introduced the tag mechanics, and for me it works really well. And yeah, if you've not played this game and you're a Tekken fan, please give it a go. For me, when I first saw Unknown, oh my word, I was absolutely terrified. I'm thinking, what the hell am I even fighting? But yeah, it's a brilliant game, and yeah, I'm hoping one day we get a Tekken Tag 3. That is game number 46. Game number 47 is one of my favorite racing games of all time, and that is Need for Speed Most Wanted. Now, after the success of the Underground games, this game blew them away because they introduced the police mechanics. You have to avoid the police and go to a safe house, and it brought a more darker story, which I found a bit, whoa, like proper surprise. But yeah, it contains the iconic BMW, and yet there was another version of this game, which was the Black Edition, which had extra content as well as a couple of cars into the game. But yeah, I picked this up when it first came out, and it was absolutely brilliant masterpiece. Game number 48 is one of the OGs, and I don't need to explain how much this game means to the GTA fans, and that is Grand Theft Auto Vice City, released in 2002, I think. GTA 3 was a groundbreaking game, but when Vice City came out, it expanded on that, and it introduced a new city and a different setting. This game is set in the 80s, and it absolutely brought that vibe. But yeah, for me, when I was a kid, I had less interest in the missions. Just got a pen and paper, put the cheat codes in, and got tanks and course destruction. And that for me, it was how I used to play the GTA game. But yeah, the story mode was brilliant as well. So yeah, that's game number 48. Game number 49 is quite an anomaly, it's quite weird, and it's mostly forgotten by the WWE fans. And that is WWE Crush Hour. So when Crush Hour came out, I'm thinking, is it a wrestling game? What is this game? So if you know a game called Twisted Metal, it's basically based on that. And I thought, whoa, THQ is absolutely going towards a different direction and just went to a different genre. So yeah, you be a vehicle and your objective is to kill as many vehicles as you can. On paper it sounds great. WWE wrestlers in cars killing each other. Yeah, but when I played it, it's like a bit clunky. It just does not feel in place. It's like two different genres mixed into one. It just does not make sense for me. But I did have a bit of fun playing it. The story was quite simple. Vince McMahon spawned all the networks and decided to kill his wrestlers. Business, I hope. But yeah, that is game number 49. Game number 50 is one of the most iconic figures in the history of video gaming, and that is Sega's Sonic. And what I've got here is Sonic Heroes. And I don't want to be a bit of a downer here, but when I got this game, I was absolutely disappointed. And I'll tell you why. It's just that the older I got, I just got motion sickness playing Sonic, especially in 3D. But yeah, this game was absolutely clunky. The bosses were mediocre. It's just a huge mess. But if you did have fun playing this game or had any memories, again, leave in the comments below. I would love to hear either argue about it to see if I'm wrong about this game, but yeah, just let me know in the comments below. And that, my friends, is game number 50. Game number 51 is possibly my favorite fighting game on the PS2 and possibly one of the greatest fighting games of all time. And I remember getting this game back in March 2005, and that is Namco's Tekken 5. Now, after the failure or commercial failure of Tekken 4, Tekken 5 had to deliver. And when I say they went all out, they absolutely went all out. The amount of content you get in this game, when I was seeing the promotional adverts and posters and especially the website, they were absolutely hyping up the unveiling of Devil Jin. And Devil Jin was a huge focus in this game. And the content you got in the game whilst you're waiting for the game to load was a Gallagher mini game. You also got the arcade version of Tekken 1, Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. And just when you thought that wasn't enough already, they included a bit of a clunky and, in my opinion, one of the worst beat-em-up games within a game, and that is Devil Within. Devil Within was like a beat-em-up game for Devil Jin. It was a bit clunky, it looked too basic, and it was just unnecessary, but it was there for the fans, and for Namco to do that, you've got to give them credit. The story mode, Jinpachi, absolutely brilliant. And yeah, for me, this was the last great Tekken game that had that aura, that had that feeling, the Tekken feeling. But nowadays, they've got rid of that, and it's sad to see. But yeah, that's game number 51. Game number 52 is Siberia II. Now, for me, I've never got into the Siberia series, but it is quite popular, especially if you like puzzle games. Now, the early Siberia games are hidden gems on the PS2, and yeah, if you like, again, with similar to Siberia 1, if you do enjoy puzzle games, Siberia is a perfect game for it. It is a bit clunky. It was a budget tag, so you got to give them a bit of leniency there. But yeah, there is fun to be had if you do enjoy puzzles. That's game number 52. Game number 53 is Virtua Fighter 4. Now, Virtua Fighter is one of the most iconic series in video gaming. It was the first ever 3D fighting game, which it also has a great history about that as well. It had a very successful 90s, but in its PS2 era, it absolutely flopped. Not to say Virtua Fighter 4 is a bad game. Virtua Fighter 4 visually is really great, and as a fighter, it's quite decent, but it just could not compete with the competition. Soul Calibur 2, Tekken 5 were, when it comes to mechanics and gameplay, were miles ahead of Sega, and unfortunately, after Virtua Fighter 5, they just disappeared from the market. It's sad to see an iconic fighting game series not around anymore, and hopefully one day they will be back, but I'm here for it. That is game number 53. Now I'm going to show you my international games. These games they might be Japanese exclusives, and most of them were released worldwide, but the Japanese versions were quite cheaper than the West. And to introduce my first Japanese game, the couple of sport games I should say are J League Winning 11 Europa League 06-07 and J League Winning 11 2007. So basically these games are PES, but the Japanese version. The only difference is these games don't have international teams, and they mainly focus on the J League, which is the Japanese version of the Barclays Premier League. But yeah, it's just PES 6 with a different skin. And that is game number 54 and 55. Game number 56 is one of the most iconic RPG series. I first got into this series with the recent game, which is Dragon Quest 11 on the PS4, and that made me revisit the previous game of this generation. And on the PS2, it is Dragon Quest 8, and according to fans, this is one of the best Dragon Quest games out there. I've never played it. I'm gonna play it later on when I have the time on my Steam Deck. But yeah, this game did come out in the West, in Europe and North America. But I've got the Japanese version, and with the Japanese version, the disc is all green, which I find quite weird, and it came with a very detailed and colourful manual. So yeah, so that's game number 57. So 56. Game number 57 also came out worldwide, but again, I went with the cheaper Japanese alternative, and that is Soul Calibur 3 on the PS2. So this game did come out worldwide, but the only difference between the European versions as well as the Japanese version are the front cover, and I absolutely adore the Japanese cover. And as for the game, it's similar to Soul Calibur 2, but with extra content. The story again with Soul Calibur in the early days were absolutely on par. And yeah, is it better than Soul Calibur 2? No, Soul Calibur 2 is like, it just had that edge over it, and Soul Calibur 1 is the GOAT. So with this game, not a bad game, but it kept up the Soul Calibur series, and for me it was the last great Soul Calibur game. But yeah, that's game number 58. Sorry, 57, lose the count. The final game on this video is an historic game, and it's a Japanese exclusive. But it did have a European and North American release. If you played the Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, it wasn't unlockable within the game, but in Japan it got its own release, and that is Virtua Fighter the 10th anniversary. So this was to commemorate one of the most iconic fighting games of all time, the original Virtua Fighter. Now, the original Virtua Fighter changed modern day gaming forever. At the time, 3D gaming was at its infancy, and let's make it a short story. At the time, PlayStation were looking to make their console 2D gaming console like the original SNES and the Sega Mega Drive, the Sega Genesis. But once they saw the original Virtua Fighter, they went towards a different direction of focused on 3D gaming. And for this to be the first ever 3D fighting game was an absolute brilliant and historic. And to commemorate that, they released an official 10th anniversary separate game for it. This game is only available in Japan, so if you want to get your hands on it, it will either have to be imported or you have to go to the source. There are two versions of this game, and I forgot their names. So this is, I hope I've spelled it right, Akira Yuki, and the other is similar character, but he wears all red. If you know what his name is, leave in the comments below. But anyways guys, that's game number 58, and that's all the games in my current collection. Now officially the hunt is about to begin, and I'm going to start my hunt from next week. So at the moment we've got 58 out of 4,376. And guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a subscribe and a like. Anyways guys, until next time, and don't forget to subscribe.